Hi there, and welcome to today's Colorado Conversation. I'm Christine Noel. 1 year ago, I met a young cancer survivor and professional go-karting driver from Arvada with a big dream to become the world's first ever amputee Formula One driver. After my story, he made the journey to Italy with his family to compete with the best drivers in the world. And today, I'm catching up with 11-year-old Pedro Cueto and his mom to get an update on his recovery and his success on the track. So when we first met, it was a little over, a year ago, a year and a half ago, and you guys were getting ready to pack up your whole lives and move to Italy to embark on this journey to become the first amputee Formula One driver. How is it going? I feel like you have been crushing it since we first met.
Yeah, so I won 2 races. Honestly, it felt really, really good to be back on the top set of the podium. But yeah, I think it's been going really good. I've been pushing myself to the limit, so I think that's good.
Yeah, Pedro, for people who don't know your story, and Mom, I know that we're coming up on 5 years since your diagnosis of Ewing sarcoma in your leg. Talk a little bit about the journey, that diagnosis, and how far we've come in the past 5 years.
Honestly, I'm like happy. It's been like a very long journey, 5 years. Um, I think I've worked very hard and stuff, but I'm really happy. I'm doing really good in Italy. I think that's like one of the that makes me really happy because I've been working so hard, especially like when I was in the hospital and stuff. And yeah, now I'm winning races in Italy. So yeah, I think I've been doing great, and yeah,
It's
Yeah.
been a journey.
it's been a journey.
Yeah, Mom. So, Mom, tell us a little bit about, obviously, when we caught up before we did Pedro's first story, you told us about the journey of when you found out that he had bone cancer. He was complaining of a pain in his knee. You had this motherly intuition that it was something more, and it turns out that it was. Talk about what this journey has been like for you, watching your son go through the diagnosis, the treatment, the years of PT, deciding to amputate, and then eventually getting to this point where you are now.
Yeah, it has been a journey. I mean, when he was first diagnosed, it's really a terrifying thing to be given statistics about your child's life and odds and numbers that are just really scary to hear. Um, and apart from just the fear that comes with the cancer diagnosis, I had two things that, I felt like I knew he was going to suffer. Everyone suffers going through cancer treatment. It's not easy. And then he's always been one of those people that has had his mission in life so clearly defined, like literally since he started to, put words together. He was like, I'm going to be a race car driver. And it was all the themes of his birthday parties, all his Halloween costumes. It was just his everything always. There was never a dinosaur phase and there was never a train phase. It was always cars. And so he was just one of those people that was born like, this is what I want to do with my life. So the idea of that dream being taken from him was something that really hit me hard too. And I remember, when your first intake in the hospital on the cancer floor, you have a bunch of, the social workers and everyone comes by and you get so much information. And one of the things is like a flyer from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And so we really encourage you to have a big milestone at the end of the trip. A lot of families go to Disneyland or go on vacation to Hawaii and, all these amazing things that we hear about. But for us, it was really clear. It was, when you're done, you're getting a go-kart. There was nothing I could think of that would motivate him in the same way and give him something to look forward to like racing would, because he always wanted to. And we were always like, yeah, we'll go one day. And we went to the rental cars, but it was never, he never had his own go-kart. We never went competitive. So we did that. And then the Christmas after he finished treatment, a couple months after he finished treatment, he got his go-kart. And that was when he went on to win the state championship while going through all the surgeries for his leg. And it was, he had this big implant in his leg and it was giving us problems and a lot of painful PT, and it was just ongoing. Even once, thankfully, he was declared cancer-free, there was ongoing issues that we were still dealing with almost every single day, and that were very painful. And so the go-karting just kept him motivated and kept him working hard, and all his PT was built around go-karting. It was, we were doing gas pedals with his foot, and everything was just built around go-karting. And so when ultimately it became clear that amputation was going to be the best path for him, he wouldn't even entertain the idea unless we found a way that he could continue to drive. So we did, and that was his hand throttle. And we had some good results with it. And then we were like, all right, well, if we're really going to do this thing, we have to be at the top of the world. And that's Italy for go-karting. So we came over this way, and yeah, we've been here for just over a year. We arrived in May last year, and he's been competing here full time. Yeah. And since then, we've learned a lot about adapting his go-kart. We spent a long time with the hand throttle, and we knew that we were maybe missing a little bit. And finally, we've had like 2 months now where we've adapted a new throttle system that he pushes with his residual limb. So he has two hands fully back on the wheel now, whereas before he had to, didn't have full grip on one side. And that's been amazing. And since then, I mean, in those 2 months, he's won twice. He's just like shot forward and has been loving life. And he's like, I feel like I'm driving on easy mode now. Like, I can't believe this is what I've been missing out on.
When we come back, Pedro tells me more about his newly modified go-kart and his fastest recorded speed to date. Welcome back into my Colorado conversation with professional go-karting champion Pedro Cueto. When I first met Pedro, his record on the track was 74 miles per hour. I asked him about his newly modified go-kart and his new record speed.
Like 80 something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You had showed me your newly modified go-kart back then. I think it was in like March or April of last year, and you were still using the hand throttle. I knew that was newly modified for you to accommodate your prosthetics. So now you're telling me you have two hands on the wheel, which I imagine, I mean, you talked about like the force and the grip that you need to have to be able to hold on and to drive at your max capacity. So now you're able to do that. How does it feel for you?
Like I'm driving on easy mode.
Yes.
So the first thing, I tried this new accelerator. I came off the track and my father asked, hey, how does it feel? Do you have any problems? I'm like, no, actually, it's really good. I'm driving on easy mode, so that makes me go way faster. But yeah, I think my whole team really has helped me develop a new accelerator. Also, my family helped me a lot. So I'm just very grateful for all that support. And yeah, I think it's been going really good with this new throttle, as we say it in a track.
It's been so fun to watch your journey since we first met. And I know you moved to Italy and you were competing. And then recently you've won these two races, right? Like I watched you climb up on top of the podium. You have number 2 and number 3 standing by you, but you're right up there at top. Like, how did that feel, winning and being victorious in Italy within about a year of making that move?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just super happy for that. Like, I'm not trying to be like a know-it-all, like I worked the hardest, but I feel like I've worked very hard for that moment. I've done a lot of exercise and I had a lot of discipline. So I think, I am really happy. I'm proud of myself, of course. And I mean, there's many more to come.
Listen, I can speak firsthand. We saw you in your CrossFit gym a year and a half ago. I mean, you're so disciplined, so hardworking. It's because you've had your eye on the prize, even since the moment that you were diagnosed. And I know that Mom, when he was debating whether or not to keep his limb or to amputate, it really came down to what you were talking about. Can I push that pedal? And that was the motivating factor. As long as I can still drive, I'm willing to go through what is arguably one of the scariest things for a person to do, let alone a child, to make this decision. And Pedro just always had his eye on the prize.
He always has had his eye on the prize. It's amazing. It's amazing to experience it and to be here next to him and see that there's never anything else on his mind. Like, to the point where we were at a 3-hour drive the other day and I'm like, okay, can we talk about not cars for a little while? He's just, he wakes up in the morning and he's either doing his workout or he's watching back old race footage or he's like looking at his notes, and it's the one track mind. And I've never seen anyone work so hard on a goal for so long. And it hasn't been easy. I mean, he's had so many complicating factors that he's had to overcome to get where he is. Yeah. And he outworks anyone I know. He works really, really hard.
Yeah, no doubt. And Pedro, are you 11 now, bud?
Yes, I'm 11 now.
11. When do you turn 12?
in December and the 16th.
Okay. All right. So you still have a handful of months or so. So yeah, 11 years old. You look bigger than the last time I saw you. You've grown.
Yeah, I've grown a lot.
Yeah. Has the prosthetic grown with you, or where are you at in terms of, I know that you're cancer free still, right?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. And so how are you feeling, and how is I mean, I'm sure you've adapted to the prosthetic by now.
The problem with Pedro is he's growing like crazy. So the prosthetists, they can't keep up. So between his quick growth and his busy racing schedule, we're always trying to find a couple free days where we can work on his legs. So the journey continues.
Yeah.
It's, until he's done growing. I think it's an ongoing journey, because every time we get a well-fitting socket, he decides to grow and then doesn't fit well anymore. So it's a journey.
Yeah, it's funny. Funny how fast these boys grow, huh? I mean, my toddler's 2.5, and I swear he's like the size of a 5-year-old. And trying to even find shoes that fit is one thing. I can only imagine the challenge of trying to make sure that your prosthetic fits and does what it needs to do so that you can operate in your highest level, Pedro.
Of course, yeah.
It's constantly growing. The crazy thing is, though, that now with our new throttle system, he drives without his leg on. So he hops over to his go-kart and he drives with no prosthetic leg on. So he's...
How does that feel? I mean, does that feel strange to not have that balance, or does it feel better, Pedro?
No, actually, me and my team have worked to where normally you would put your leg. We put 2 kilos, but then today we figured out that we have to put on another one. So now we have 3 kilos on where my leg is supposed to be. So then the cart is balanced. And we actually designed this throttle system that I can still like hold myself in the corners. So yeah, my family and the team have just been working really hard for me. So again, really grateful for it. The racing community has helped me so much.
They brought Pedro, they've been doing a lot to make the sport more inclusive, and Pedro's been able to be a little bit of a spokesperson for accessibility within the sport. And honestly, the racing community has been amazing, because they've pulled him in with open arms. When we've developed these throttle systems, they help us get the paperwork in place that he can compete with them, and they support the innovation. And both, in the States and the international racing community, all of it has just really been helpful in, I guess, recognizing that this helps the sport as a whole. And the great thing about racing is anyone can do it because of the engineering aspect. So if you can engineer it, there's really equal conditions, and Pedro's competing with the best in the world. As the only driver with one leg, but because of the ability to engineer a throttle that he's able to push in a different way, he's able to compete in equal conditions and compete with everyone else. And there's, men and women, boys and girls compete together. He's able to compete with them, and what matters is the stopwatch, and what matters is how fast you are. And I think for Pedro, that's been something that he really values.
When we come back, Pedro tells me more about his experience racing in Italy and his inspiring message to other young cancer fighters out there. Hey, welcome back in. Here is more of my conversation with professional go-karting driver and cancer survivor Pedro Cueto. I'm not at all surprised that you've been stepped into this role of becoming a spokesperson. The second that I met you, I was like, man, this kid is really going places. You're the perfect person for this job, the perfect athlete, the perfect driver for this job. I'm so curious, once you got over to Italy and you're around new drivers, young drivers, sometimes when someone has something a little different going on, they're afraid or shy to talk about it. Do you feel like the other drivers have asked you about, your prosthetic, about, being an amputee driver in your experience, or do they not really ask?
Yeah, they ask a lot.
Yeah.
Today, right before my session, I think I had like 5 kids, because with this new accelerator, some of them don't know. So they came and they asked me all about it, and I explained, of course. They say like, which one do you like more, on the hand or with your leg? And I say with the leg one is better. And actually, I'm surprised that most people think that this one is better than like this. I disagree with that, but they don't know. But
and what's your nickname in the team?
Oh yeah, so there's like normally like a 40 to an hour break, and I'm not wearing my prosthetic in the break. So I'm jumping around all the tent, and they call me the rabbit.
They call you the rabbit.
Yeah.
I remember you were jumping around your house too during our
Yeah,
interview
yeah.
about a year and a half ago.
Uh-huh.
So no, I mean they ask him questions as all kids do. You know, they have questions, but Pedro's never been afraid to answer them, and he's very open, and he'll take off his prosthetic leg and hand it on over to them, and let them hold it.
I think it's great. I mean, I think because you're opening a conversation for other families, probably not just the kids, but also the parents, and on a global level to be able to see you rising to this occasion in the way that you are and being openly talking about it, your experience, and to also be winning. I mean, it's the perfect formula to be able to help people better understand, your journey and to inspire other kids. We've used the word inspiring and inspiration nonstop here at Fox 31 when we talk about Pedro, because we've been talking about you since we first aired this story. And with the Academy, the Heartland Emmy Academy, just recognizing your story, Pedro, I mean, it's very obvious that you are such an inspiration and a role model for a lot of kids that maybe feel like their life is not going to be as wonderful as they hoped after dealing with something like childhood cancer. And you're the poster child for saying, hey, not only am I doing great, but I'm thriving and I'm only going to continue to rise. So, I mean, hats off to you. Round of applause. Like we're so proud of you. And Mom, man, you got to be so proud of your son.
Thank you. I am. And on that note, Pedro has created a project where he's, for exactly that reason, working on bringing racing simulators to children's hospitals around the world, because racing has given him so much and is a way that he is able to compete with everyone else and feel fast and powerful. And, it makes him the happy, confident boy that he is. And he's like, I want more kids to experience this. And it's so adaptable. And at the Children's Hospital in Colorado, we brought one for a day. And so many kids, they really got to experience it.
It was honestly like super cool. Like there was this guy who was paralyzed, and he walked over and he was kind of looking at it. And I went over to him and I said, "Hey, do you want to drive?" He's like, "No, I can't. I'm paralyzed." And I'm like, "It's okay. We brought this literally so you can drive it." So we put the hand throttle on him, and it was just super cool. He had the accelerator here and the brake here. So, and then there's like so many other kids who came over, and I didn't know if they could drive it, but they could. So honestly, that was just super happy for me. And yeah, I want to bring it to more hospitals around the world so more kids can experience that.
Pedro, real quick, when we first met, you said your favorite car was the Pantano. Is that still the same?
So I've been racing now in many different chassis.
Okay.
For right now, I think my favorite is the Paralin chassis, which is a little more different to the Pantano because Pantano has way more grip, but sometimes to have too much grip is not good because you get like stuck on the track. So I think the Paralin has been great for me. I really like how it drives. It's very responsive in the front, which what that means is I can like turn faster without it sliding. So I think right now it's Berlin.
What have you learned about yourself in the past year since moving from Arvada to Italy and entering the race scene overseas?
Yeah, honestly, I've been learning a lot on my mental side. Because I mean, most people think like, oh yeah, you're racing, going around the track, gas and brake. It's way more than that. So yeah, I've been learning a lot on my mental side, and I've been working out physically a lot. So yeah, I think I've been working a little harder than before, which yeah, that makes me happy also.
Well, you're growing and becoming more competitive. I mean, the stage is bigger, the stakes are higher. We're so proud of you. Last question. What is your message to other kiddos that have seen your story or learning of your story that may be sitting in the beds of Children's Hospital Colorado going, man, I hope that I can do that someday? What's your message to them?
So last time I was here on this interview, I said keep pushing, and I've said that in a lot of my Instagram videos. So, and most people think like, oh yeah, you keep saying the same thing, but I truly do believe in it. Keep pushing for your goal, and even if it's not motorsport, what if it's tennis or football, soccer, football, whatever? um, you go for that and you focus on that until you actually do it. And for me, that's just super important because when I was in the bed in the children's hospital, I was working so hard for even to just be here. Um, yeah, just always have a goal, always keep pushing and stuff. So
Keep pushing.
that's my,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my message.
You're the bravest, most inspiring kid that I know. And I've met a lot of brave kids. So that's saying something. It's so nice to see you both. Pedro, congratulations. Keep pushing.
Thank you so
We're
much.
rooting you on every step of the way. Loving watching all your videos on Instagram. Keep them coming. And Mom, great to see you too. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. So nice to catch up with you.
So great catching up with Pedro and his mom. If you would like to follow along with Pedro's journey, you can follow him on Instagram at Pedro Cueto 52. He's very active, certainly worth a follow. Thank you for joining us here today. Until next time, have a wonderful day.